right, welcome to another episode of At Your Service on my happy little YouTube channel, as well as the Serum Audio Network. I am Shawn Tabor, your host of hosts, and with me, as always, is Sarah Jelinek. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Shawn. Happy whatever day it is.
Yeah, I know, right? With this whole quarantine thing, the day I told my wife, because Monday is Memorial Day in the States, and I said, let me tell you something. Monday, I'm sleeping in, and she goes, "You sleep in every day." I said, "No, I don't." So it's a bone of contention in our house. But yes, the days are just blending together. So how are you? How are you holding up with the whole with all this COVID and stuff?
You know, we're still keeping busy. Still have customers. We need to help see the benefits of Power Platform and help implement it for them, and Power Apps and all that good stuff. So it really hasn't changed, other than you just can't quite do the same things you want to do. Like I'm waiting for Wonder Woman 1984 to come out, because I think the world needs some Wonder Woman right now.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of sad we're having to wait for theaters to open again so they can make their money back on that film. Yeah. Or Black Widow, all that good stuff. But the November timeframe is when all the movies are coming out. Like every movie that was supposed to come out is going to be out. So it'll be interesting. I'm just a worrywart. I don't. It's gonna have to be those big movies like Wonder Woman or Black Widow, and I'll have to make sure that I have some room around me. You know, I just hope that I'll be able to enjoy it and not be, Right. Well, it makes sense. You might just have to do like a 1 a.m. showing or something when no one should be around.
I would do that. Yeah. I totally would do that if they had that. But yes. And one weird thing I found, when this whole thing started, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta buy some masks. But I never went to buy the disposable ones. I always wanted the ones you could wash. So I ordered one, and it never came. So I ordered another different one. And that one never came. And then they started coming out with fancy ones, like sports related ones. And I'm like, ooh, Chicago Bears masks. So I ordered a 3-pack of those. Still hasn't come. And then they came out with Boston Red Sox ones. I'm like, ooh, cool. Bought a 3-pack of those. Still hasn't come. I finally got the first mask that I ordered when this first happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So I looked back at when I got it. I was like, oh yeah, I ordered that. And I'm like, oh man. So in July, I'm gonna have like 10 masks, just because I forgot about the ones I ordered, and then they came out with Star Wars ones. So now I have a 3-pack of those, and yes, there's a Baby Yoda one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm a mess, but it's it happens. But
next time you talk to me about that kind of stuff, I'll hook you up. I've got my ways. I've got crocheted Baby Yodas. I got masks.
Oh yeah. Everybody here's I got him right here. Here he is, Baby Yoda. It's crocheted Baby Yoda, and he shows up on work calls, and people just adore him. Yeah. So yeah, he shows up more often than my sumo-san. He shows up
nice
because he's bigger. There was one meeting I had sumo-san in the little sippy cup. But anywho's,
so you need to put some candy in that little sippy cup, by the way.
Exactly. Some
chicken nuggets. Blue Lindor truffle.
Ooh, nice. There you go. All right. Well, we're not. This isn't quarantine talk. Stay at your service. No, it was my fault. I was just asking. Yeah. But yeah, it's been about a month and a half since we last chatted. And if I recall, last time we talked about customizable case resolution. And that was
absolutely fun. Yeah.
But today, what I want to talk about, you had some experiences in between our last recording with some training that sounded pretty cool. So tell me a little bit about what you did.
So I was delivering a session for Dynamics 365 User Group Focus, which took place earlier this week. And my session was on leveling up your customer service. So whether you've started implementing customer service or you've been using it for a while, just wanted to talk about some of that new functionality. Obviously, one of the topics we covered was the case resolution dialogue. But the other was the fact that one of my favorite features of customer service, automatic record creation. Well, actually, there's a lot of them, but this is one of my favorites. The automatic record creation is now using Power Automate. And just the setup of that. Yeah. So if you go to, and I have the April Wave 2 release, and if you go to docs.microsoft.com, it talks about you can use Power Automate. It doesn't tell you exactly what to do in Power Automate,
right?
But it's still really neat. And as I was going through this, one of the things I thought was, okay, well, now that we have Power Automate and we're not using workflows anymore, we have a lot more functionality at our disposal. Particularly one issue that I know has bothered a lot of people. And when you're creating a case from an email, what's the most important part of that email that you're getting? You get the subject, right? You find out kind of a summary of what it is when someone's emailing you an issue. And that's mapping to your case title. But what tells you what's going on?
Really, it's the body.
It's the body, right? So I think that's the most important piece of that email.
Right.
And I'd like to put that into the description of the case so that when my customer service representatives are looking at it, they can see right away what the issue is. They can look at the body and see the details.
Right.
But if you do that now, what happens is if you just take that description from the email and throw it into the description of, take the body of the email and throw it into the description of the case, you get a bunch of HTML.
Right. All the tags and stuff. Yeah.
Unreadable for users. So what we've had to do in the past was we actually had to use plugin code to strip that HTML out. Well, guess what? There is a nice feature in Power Automate that will do an HTML conversion to text. So I just set up a quick Power. Actually added a couple steps to Power Automate where I did the conversion, and then put that converted text into the description. And now I can actually read the content of an email. And I can see that in the description. So now my call service reps, my customer service representatives don't need to click on the email, open it up, and view the content. I've got basically the heart of it there. If there's pictures, it might say, okay, here's a picture. No fancy fonts, just get to the heart of it. And if I need to open it up to see pictures, then I just go to the email. But probably 90% of the time, I can just read the content of that and then be able to see it. So in discovering that, I did write a blog article. So
nice.
I'm actually going to hold true to, go check out sarahjelinek.com because I do have the article out there on how to do it.
And we will link that in on the video and on the show notes of the podcast. Very cool.
Yeah. So I just simply did the conversion and then just did an update of, taking that, did an update step. But it's pretty nice because you can actually see the flow of steps of how Microsoft did it. And, you could just create your record creation rule or your rule item and your action to create the case, and you could leave it. But it really doesn't do a whole lot for you. You want to go back in there and start editing that or adding, more content to that step to fill in my fields for my case. But it's really cool. And one of the attendees loved it. She passed it off to her developer and she says, this is a problem we've had for so long. Now we can fix it really quick.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That
was a fun little discovery.
I love that because, what was it? Last year's summit. Yeah, last year's summit, you showed something in your session, and I went right after summit. I went on my project and said, "Here, this is what we need to do," and it was what was it?
It was inserting multiple articles in an email.
Yes.
And I can't claim credit for that at all. My developer I work with, David Rodriguez, is the man. He came up with that, but he helped. I actually took what he did and put it into my environment. But it's a thing that I know I've talked to product owners about this before and just said, hey, this is a great feature. you want to send 5 different emails to send, 5 articles, customers are going to think you're spamming them.
Yeah.
Put it all in one. And instead of putting you could put either the content of the article so they can just read everything there, or better yet, drive them to your website.
Right.
So I drive them to the portal so that I can see, are they actually clicking on it and viewing it? So you can get your view KPIs of that too. That article is also on my website. There's like 2 articles out there, but
see, that's the awesome thing though, that it's the way, even kudos to your developer, but the way that you present it in the actual use case and the real life scenario makes you instantly go, whoa, I could totally use that right now. So now this is going to be the second thing in a row that you've told me, and I'm like, oh my god, I got to use it in my product. So that's fantastic, because because that concept isn't just for email to case. It could be email to anything, really. Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So
we awesome. We talk about it because of customer service, but you're right. It could be leads that you're bringing in. It could be, even for a custom entity that you're going to do an automatic record creation, or that you're using knowledge articles for something beyond cases. Right. Yep.
Right. That's awesome. Very nice. But we'll put links in the show notes, both video and in the podcast. Speaking of portals, I wanted to pose this to you. I had an interesting conversation today with one of my sales guys, and I wanted to get your take on it. Okay. Now, this person's going to go unnamed. There was a question about the customer service portal. Customer wants email to case.
Okay.
Right? From, they want to be able to enter a case on a portal, and boom, it goes into Dynamics. There is no portal. No portal stood up right now. My sales guy said, "Oh, that's easy. You just go into the settings and enable the portal, and boom, you're done. It's all there." And I said, "No, not really." He goes, "Oh yeah, you just put it in." He goes, "Yeah, it's," and then he name dropped Shawn. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, calm it down. I know Shawn." You want to start naming ADX people? I can name ADX people.
Yeah.
But I said, I get where you're going, and yes, it's easy to spin up a customer service portal. However, it's emblazoned with Contoso. There's forms you have to change. I've never once turned on a portal completely out of the box and not made any changes, or had to do anything in terms of login settings, or single sign-on, or doing something with their network to make sure protocols we're talking. Am I out of my mind or not?
No. And actually, that was one of my topics I was talking about in leveling up your customer service, and that was deploying the portal. And I said it is very easy for you to go in and deploy the customer service portal template when you're configuring your portal. And every time I demonstrate it, it does have Contoso everywhere. Yep. And I've not made any changes whatsoever.
Right.
So part of that story is true.
Right.
But if I'm implementing it for ABC company, they're not Contoso. There's got to be work that needs to be done. So I always say, hey, go talk to my buddies Colin and Nick and Jim and Nick and all these other guys that deploy portals, and other there's other women out there that do it as well. You need to go to them then to take it to the next step of how do I brand it for my company, and then how do I adapt some of that functionality. Absolutely. And then, but to think about when you create a case, you do have to have an authenticated user.
Right.
That someone's going to log in. What if you don't want to do that?
Right.
What do you do? So, and we've had that scenario. Yeah.
And you got to have the routing rules set up. You got to have the case creation rules set up. You got to have when you're registering people on the portal, the out of the box registration doesn't always fit. So I mean, if you're talking super vanilla in a trial environment or in a test environment, sure.
Yep.
But if it's something that the customer is expecting to actually put in front of customers, then no, it is not just a flip switch.
Yeah, and if you're doing like a B2C authentication, are you going to be utilizing the authentication in the portal, or are you going to be utilizing something like Microsoft account or Facebook or Twitter or some type of other third-party authentication for it? So. Yeah, we had a situation where a customer wanted the portal. They love the idea of the knowledge base. They love the idea of being able to have information there, and but they didn't want to have people to log in and have to try to maintain their authentication. So we engineered it in such a way that they could do like a contact us, and they can put all their information in. But then we had to do a lot of customization in the background to get their customer information in, to create the case, and then work it. So we didn't create like brand new people every time and then really mess up our data. So your salesperson's sort of right, but mostly wrong.
Which is what I said. Politely I said, well, you're kind of right, but you means well. But vindication is mine.
I mean, if Contoso comes along and says, "Yes, I want a portal," he's got that in the bag. Perfect.
What was the other one? There was Contoso, and wasn't there? The Tradewinds?
Oh, Tradewinds sounds right. Or Northwinds?
Northwinds.
Yeah.
No. Contoso stuck.
Fabricam.
Yeah, Fabricam.
Woodgrove Bank.
Yeah.
Or Woodgrove. Yes.
Yeah, Woodgrove Bank. Yeah, that's in all the templates, the email templates. Thank you for contacting us at Woodgrove Bank. Yeah. Did you get to watch any of the sessions from Build?
No, I have not.
I didn't either.
Looking forward to it though.
I didn't either.
I did register. I wasn't an early register, so I didn't get my socks or my lunchbox or stickers or anything like that. But I still signed up.
What it was? Socks and a lunchbox?
Socks, lunchbox, and some stickers. I think you got a lanyard and like a ID card, or like kind of like your badge or whatever that you'd wear at events. I don't think it had your name on it or anything, but yeah.
I thought for MBAS, I was in early. You registered early?
Yes.
And you got the little doodads?
I got it like right before it. And actually, I unfortunately just dropped my stress ball, so I'm gonna grab it now.
Yeah, I got mine right here.
Here it is. Here's mine. So got mine.
Yeah.
Da-da-da.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
So kudos to Microsoft for doing that, because that's something they completely do not have to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, this is like in the biggest manner they don't have to do it. But yeah, that was really cool. I didn't get to watch much of Build. I don't normally. I look at Build as more developer stuff. So I did take a look at the when it came out for everybody, the Build Book of News that was on the website.
Oh, okay, yes.
I looked at that and checked some of that stuff out, and that was interesting. But I just had too many meetings to really attend anything. But I love how well they're producing these events and making it consumable. And for Build, I mean, they went overnight in a lot of ways to expand it to overseas, global audience. But yeah, that was really cool. I'm really enjoying those, and I'm wondering. It's weird. I'm really wondering how once all the virus really gets actually controlled, and the vaccines and all that good stuff. I'm really wondering how that is going to change the new normal going forward. How many in-person events will we actually have? I'm sure there's going to be some. But these are pretty effective.
You
don't think?
Yeah. Well, I'm torn because I think people are going to be. It's going to be death by virtual event and virtual meeting soon. Because you had. For us, it was MVP Summit, and then you had MBAS, and then you had User Group Focus, and then you have Build, and then you're going to have all sorts of other events like Dynamic Communities putting some around the world that now are turning them virtual. It's harder for you and I. We had meetings, right? So if we were to attend Build, we would physically attend Build, and we'd be there. Now it's pretty convenient for people to go, well, I'll try watch it later. and not get there. But and there's also something about being in person.
Oh,
that
for sure.
like you walk into the expo hall at Ignite and you're like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, even just walking the halls of the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, and just the soda machines, the big signage that they have, the immense amount of people. There's something to be said for that. So I think when the events hit, it's going to be big. People are going to want to be there, and then to be able to make those personal connections. So I think it's sustainable for a while, but
I still think there's going to be an enhanced virtual component, even if there's in person, because what they're going to end up doing is they're going to have to still maintain social distancing. So I don't think that's going to go away. Even when there's a vaccine, I don't think it's going to go away.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'd say it's a good debate too, because look back at the 1900s when they went through this, and they probably did social distance and probably keep away and lock themselves away for a few months, but we've gotten away from that. Yeah. It's going to happen. We're going to slowly break away and slowly ease things back into it. I hope
so. Yeah. I do hope so.
I miss giving people hugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, our friend had Julie had her birthday. We had that was my first Zoom birthday party.
Same here. Yep.
It was fun.
I had a Teams one earlier, but yeah.
It was fun.
First Zoom
one. But different. So.
No, I do agree. That Microsoft does a really great job of putting events on, and that's because they have an entire division of their company dedicated to it.
Right.
But being able to record and properly produce things, it does make it a great event.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. But I'm looking forward, because I read somewhere, and I'm not going to be official and say where I read it because I don't remember, but I read somewhere that we made more advances in the last 3 months with virtual or distance type technology than we have in like the last 10 years. Something like that. Something insane like that. So what I'm wondering to see what the trend's going to be is in terms of the offerings, not for conventions and stuff like that, but the offerings that we're implementing for our customers. How do they increase? Do we start to see licensing models change to something different so that more people can get it, take advantage of it?
That's a great point.
Do we start to see, for example, HoloLens just go down in price to get it out to more people? Right. You know what I mean? Things like that. Because the more for business, the more options we can provide our customers, the better, obviously. But there's never been an imperative. Now there's an imperative, so
right.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes. So,
well, and we've found too that with some of our customers, they were all very much got to have everything on premise, got to have everything inside the shop, and now it's a different situation. It's like now we get people working from home. How do we get them connected?
Right.
Moving to the cloud is really going to be the big push for a lot of organizations now. Yeah. So it'd be great to see that.
Do you think that's going to do anything to Dynamics on-prem?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stumble there, but like when I was at User Group Summit working the Medic booth, I had a lot of people that would come up to us saying, "I'm on-prem." I don't know why we're still there. Or we're on like 8.2 or at 9.0. We're really trying to get to the cloud, but I just can't get them convinced.
Yeah.
And now I think you've got a perfect reason to say, why are you still there?
Right.
So I know that there's reasons that maybe heavy integrations or something like that, but I think it's going online has got to be the way to go.
Yeah.
It always has been, because you're going to see the latest and greatest, but
right. Yeah. It doesn't seem so long ago that where I was like, I haven't done but 2 online implementations. All my implementations are on-prem. and then bam.
Mm-hmm.
Now I haven't done an on-prem implementation in 5 years, something like that. So anywho's, well, I think we could talk nostalgic and talk theory as long as we wanted to, but probably going to bore some people because we're getting a little heady. So
it's deep.
Yes, it is. It is very deep. So why don't we plan on getting back together? And I think next time we get together, let's talk about some topics like maybe some remote assist. We can talk about the new field service mobile app, and we could talk about some other cool things on the field service side. I think we can serve that up.
Well, I'm intrigued to learn more about inspections from you, because I know when I was first working with field service, one of the things that when we were exploring it was the ability to do inspections. Yeah. And I know that Resco had that, but now it sounds like we're going to have the functionality in Dynamics.
We are indeed.
In field service, so it'd be cool to talk about that as well.
And let's do that. Nice teaser, Sarah.
I try.
All right. Well, until next time, we are at your service. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thanks, Sarah.